Has anyone seen what's going on in Peru? Hey, Connor, are you there? Connor, are you with me?
Hello?
Hey, there you are. I didn't know if you was with me or not.
Yep, I'm here. I can hear you.
What'd you think about the things going on in Peru? I sent you those videos this morning.
1 second. Let me get this set up to where I can actually hear you out loud. It's being very quiet at the moment.
You can't hear me?
It's very quiet, that's for sure.
Anyway, going on in Peru, there is. Well, we just lost our recording. Hang on. Get the podcast back. Let's see. And don't you just love technical difficulties? And get it back to going. Anyway, since July 11th, there's been reports of aliens attacking villagers in Peru. They are calling them the face eaters. So, excuse me, they're calling them the face eaters. Send this invite, get Connor back on here. Anyway, look it up on TikTok, look it up on YouTube, wherever you can find it. They are discussing, saying that these things are like attacking, possible killed 70 people in these villages. They are claiming that they are, well, the chief or whatever he is, the village leader.
Hello.
Hey, you back? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
There's a lot of background noise there.
So yeah, I watched all the videos you sent me about the incidents going on in Peru. That's crazy though, ain't it? 70 people dying.
It's crazy, yes.
Give us a breakdown of what's going on. Yeah, give us a breakdown, just in case some of the viewers don't know.
Okay. In Peru, since July 11th, there has been, on a nightly basis, what they claim is aliens dressed in silver with like these discs on their feet that enable them to fly through the air. They claim they're 7 foot tall, white, wearing some kind of silver body armor that is impenetrable to bullets. They've been shooting at them every single night. There's been a girl kidnapped, her throat cut. I think she's fine. I think she lived. They got her back from these people, from these aliens, whatever they are. Since then, they're saying, since all this stuff's went down, they're claiming 70 people have lost their lives. They are peeling their faces off, like plumb to the skull, removing their organs like their eyes, their tongue, all that kind of stuff, removing it out, leaving nothing but the skull and the hairline and the ears. Okay, they have called in for help. They're 10 miles or a 10-hour boat ride away from any other civilization. Yeah, 10 hours boat ride away from civilization. They have called in to the Peruvian Navy. The Navy has came in. They're saying that these people that's getting their faces eat off is only it's because of the piranhas in the area. Okay, the piranhas in the Amazon or whatever this is, whatever river this is, body of water this is. They're also saying that this is miners that are wanting to go in there and illegally mine gold in these villages are trying to scare the people off. And it happens all the time. On top of all this, they have called in the United States Air Force special operations, and they have called in United States Space Force. Now, if this is illegal miners, why are they calling in United States Space Force, United States, Air Force special ops? That makes absolutely no sense. So that's the rundown. That's what's going on. It's happening on a nightly basis. Probably still going on. These things fly through the air, by their feet. Uh, the chief says it's like the Green Goblin from Spider-Man. Is the way he talks about them. They're white, shiny, and have glowing yellow eyes.
So yeah, it's a crazy incidents going on. Here's the thing: if it was minors, why would they need the Navy? Could the police force not handle it themselves? Why would they call in U.S. government? Why would they request for U.S. government, U.S. government military to help fight minors? Right? Definitely with all the stuff that the U.S. has going on right now, they wouldn't be calling in the U.S. government to come help them with anything, especially minors. You know, that's their own country. It might be small, it might be tribal, but if it was something more serious than minors, that's when you would call in the government. But illegal miners out there mining for gold, could your own military not handle that? Could your own police force not handle that? You know? So that's what's confusing me. Why would they call in the U.S. if it's just minors?
Why would they call in the U.S. Special Ops from the Air Force and the U.S. Space Force? That makes no sense whatsoever to deal with minors. That makes if you've seen these guys running through the videos, there's all over TikTok, all over YouTube, you can find videos of these guys running through the woods with their shotguns and rifles, blasting away at these things. Okay, if it's minors, these guys should be able to handle the situation themselves, and with them kidnapping kids from their village and killing them and or trying to kill them. When they kidnap a 15-year-old girl and cut her throat, they these guys should handle the business. You know what I mean?
Boy,
So
I've heard some of the stories saying that they push them into the jungle and they just disappear. You can't just disappear in a jungle. The jungles are full. It would take hours to get through certain areas of the jungle, so they would have paths, right? These people are disappearing, just following these paths. Here's the thing: if they're 7 foot tall, big, huge creatures, like you said, green, glowing, white, the creatures you described, why are they running away? You know what I mean? Definitely if they're all armored. I remember watching one of the videos that you sent me. They just shoot at them, and the bullets, they were doing nothing to them. If it was body armor, it'd be doing some sort of damage. It'd be breaking ribs, penetrating skin. It might not go through the body armor, but it would definitely cause a little bit of damage. But some of these stories are just not adding up. It's kind of confusing because you have some stories saying that they are these big, huge, floating, levitating creatures, and then you have other stories coming out saying that it was piranhas, or it almost sounds like it's just a cover up for something. You think like the whole piranha situation is just a cover up? What about the scenario where they're saying that there had been miners here before mining illegally? Or were they all 7 foot tall, big, huge, strange looking creatures, or were they human? That's the real question.
have you seen anybody from Peru? Most, and this is not, I have a lot of good friends that are from South America. So this is, and I'm short myself. I'm 5'9", 5'10". So this is nothing against anyone from Peru or lower, because we are an international podcast. We're listened to all over the world. But have you ever met anyone from Peru that's 7 foot tall? I mean, really, these guys are my size or shorter. A lot of times they're shorter, especially like down in Guatemala and those places. But I'm not trying to stereotype anybody, but 7 foot tall. They're just guessing. I'm sure that they just know these dudes are really tall. Um, some of the news reporters keep bringing back up, and some of the UFO investigators keep bringing back up that this happened before in 1977 in either Peru or Colombia, and I cannot find any information about that whatsoever. I've been looking all over online, and I can't find it. I don't know if it's a cover up or what. I mean, I don't know, but I can't find anything about it online. Also, I cannot find anything about, um, I'm trying to get my mouse to work here. Also, I can't find out anything about, you know, how many people's had their faces peeled off. They're saying that one guy was eat up by piranhas, but ha- I've never seen piranhas just eat one spot. Usually they swarm you and they just bite millions, just hundreds of them are just eating you up all over. You have a lot of movement there, Connor. You okay?
Yeah. I'm just listening.
You have a lot of background noise going on. There is
It's probably an AC unit.
there is a there is another thing going on, down there. They said that, they're not supposed to be there, but they are there. There's black helicopters going on. So apparently somebody's down there investigating. So the U.S. Air Force is down there. The United States Space Force is down there. Everybody is down there, you know, investigating this. If that's the case, why aren't they bringing these miners to justice? How hard would it be to round up a bunch of miners in the middle of the jungle?
Definitely they know where they're at as well, right? Because you said 70 people came across them unless they kidnapped after that many people. Here's the thing: if 70 people have lost their lives, this is a serious problem. Those are genocidal numbers right there. You know what I mean? Like, the Peruvian government needs to do something to where they can figure this out. And if that takes helicopters searching for them, if that takes calling in the Coast Guard, their U.S. Navy, not the Navy, but calling in the police force and calling in the Peruvian Navy to try to find these people, that's what they need to do. But with the claims from the people and the government not releasing anything, it's kind of strange because you would think the government would release something like this if it was minors, if they had substantial proof, instead of just trying to keep this all a secret because people want to know. 70 people dying, that's no joke. That's a lot of people. One person dying is no joke, and it's insane to where they're keeping us from the people to where the people are thinking it's something extraterrestrial or some sort of creature. But yeah, I don't know if it's the Peruvian government not doing their part, doing the research and trying to track down what's going on, or do you think it's just Project Bluebeam? That's something that came across whenever I was reading up on the subject.
Could it be a huge sob? Yeah, it could. Yeah, but would our government or some kind of New World Order government go in and kill 70 people? Now, 70 people in a remote village is a lot of people. I mean, it's a lot of people. I mean, I don't know how many people live there, but that's a lot of people. That's a high percentage of the population, I'm sure. Are you familiar with what happened in Hopkinsville, Kentucky in the 1950s?
I am not, but I would love to hear about it.
I want to describe this. No one is talking about this in anything, but I'm going to go into this. Let me pull it up here on Google. What happened? Okay, Hopkinsville, Kentucky. I'm trying to get the dates. Trying to pull it up here so I can see um, what the dates were of this encounter. And let's see, pull this up. This happened one night, and let me see. Okay, anyway, I don't see no date on this. Anyway, in Hopkinsville, August 21st, 1955, when a large extended farm family called the Suttons arrived breathlessly at the Hopkinsville police station in southwestern Kentucky. Their story of a terrifying siege by otherworldly beings would become one of the most detailed and baffling accounts of alien close encounters on record, notable for the large number of witnesses, nearly a dozen, the duration of the encounter, several hours, and the close proximity between the witnesses and the creatures, sometimes just a few feet away. The incident became quickly regional and even national news. Okay, if you can pull this up on Google, it shows a picture of what they say the men look like. These were supposedly little green men, and they kind of looked like, now these they're saying these guys was like 3.5 feet tall, right? 2.5 to 3.5 foot tall. But these guys
I
look,
decided from the ones in Peru.
yeah, total different size, about half the size of the ones in Peru, or a third of the size. And but they're describing them, they look almost exactly the same. I want you to listen to this, the way they describe these. Um, the head is almost as round and bald, same color as the body. Nose, none. One man stated this strongly that there was not a nose. The eyes swept back, extended quite a bit above the crown of the head. Eyes yellow, center, white trim about 6 inches apart and glowing. Okay, glowing yellow eyes, just like what this guy said, the chief down there.
Yep.
Mouth thin line, blah blah blah. Body uh, powerful above the waist, muscles clearly seen below the waist, thinly and spindly, almost no shape to the legs, stick like. Okay, hands oversized, talons 2 to 3 inches long, webbing, and they're and in between their fingers, starting about the knuckles above the talons. So these guys seen this. They have pretty good. I mean, they got a pretty good visual of these things. They fought these things all night long, several hours. I don't know exactly how many. I don't remember. But anyway, they what happened was they seen one, and he come towards them with his hands up, and they, of course, 1955 Kentucky, they freaked out, didn't know them, couldn't understand them, scared the heck out of them, so they opened up with their shotguns. Right, that's just the way people dealt with
Yeah.
stuff here in the 50s, right? So uh, they ran back inside the house, and then supposedly this thing landed in their ditch or a ravine nearby the house, about a football field size away from the house. And anyway, they they sieged this house all night. They was trying to get into them or looking through the windows, and I don't know if they was trying to get these people or not, but they were freaking them completely out, and they were shooting at them. Well, anyway, one of them walks out on the front porch, to try to see what's going on, to try to get a better shot at one. And one reaches down from above the porch to try to grab him. And of course, they open up on the porch, the roof of the porch. About 11 p.m. that night, they all jumped in their trucks and they ran down to the police station. The police believed them because he come in there, and why would they make it up? Why would they make up a story like that? So the police sends out 16 officers, the sheriff, and I'm sure probably some deputies. They also send in troops from Fort Campbell. They come, and supposedly there was some governmental investigators there too, either that night or the next day. I do not know, but that is reports. That's what people say. But anyway, these bodies, these creatures, the way they describe them, with the silver bodies, they were impervious to bullets. Bullets had no effect on them. It sounds a whole lot like the ones there in Peru. I mean, even though the ones in Peru 7 foot tall, these are only 2.5 to 3 foot tall, but it's similar. The story's similar. Um, what do you think about that?
And both are coming from very like small areas as well. Like the small population of Peru, which it's not a small population, but it's more of a excluded area. There's not really much going on. There's not big cities. There's nothing like that. Same with Hopkinsville. Small town, small area, and the looks are similar, but the sizes are a lot different, right? Um, that is kind of a strange switch up. But if you think about it, right? If it is aliens, like you said, the Peruvians, they are smaller built people. Who knows if these people or creatures or whatever they are, extraterrestrial, who knows if they actually are 7 foot tall? It sounds like everybody who's encountered one has possibly died, at least face to face, right? So maybe these are just stories being passed around. But what if it's the same kind of sightings, and but they're coming to these smaller areas, so there's less talk. If they were in a big city, walking around shooting people, everybody would know about it, correct? Doing it in something small, in a small, excluded, 10 hours away from the next big, from the next big state, next big city, and it's yeah, I think both are very weird scenarios. There's not much to prove either side of it being minors or being extraterrestrial. I watched a lot of the TikToks, and the footage isn't really that great. They just there was one of the videos where it was trying to show that it was a alien in the backyard. Like, you couldn't see anything in that video, right? What was the point of even posting that? All you hear is a dog barking, people screaming, right? They couldn't even get a good sight. They must have been recording with a Nokia phone or something dumb. But it is strange that they both described the creatures, towards the same extent, besides like the size difference. The same color, same shaped head, same build, besides the height. But what do you think? Do you think it could be extraterrestrial, or do you think it could just be like pirates coming in trying to mine up the gold? What do you think?
I'm open to anything right now. Yeah, I'm open to anything. I thought about it a lot. Look at the Peruvian Navy says it's they're just trying to scare them off. Killing 70 people and kidnapping kids and peeling people's faces off right down to their skulls. That's pretty gruesome to just mine some gold.
That's not scary.
Yeah, that, and these people are terrified in this village. They're putting all the women and kids in the center of the village and guarding them, and aren't these people ain't getting no sleep. Since July 11th, these people ain't getting a bit of sleep. They're putting them in the middle of the town, guarding the women and children, while the men are out patrolling all night long, trying to stop these things, from stealing more kids or from killing more people and peeling their faces off. There's more. It's hard to say that this is, it's hard to say what this is. Is it some kind of ancient creature come back, or some kind of demonic entity, some kind of, some kind of cult doing this? Is it some kind of cult, making sacrifices, or is it a big scare psyop? Maybe nobody died. Maybe these stories are false and no one died, and they're just putting this stuff out there to try to make people, to get people on, Operation Bluebeam, to make it more believable. It's hard to say. It's hard to say, but the way that they describe this guy riding, or these entities riding these silver disc shoes. Could someone have a 7 foot tall um, dummy, make a big dummy, a 7 foot tall dummy, and put it on a drone, have it standing on two drones, and someone standing somewhere and flying this thing around and scaring the people? The problem is how many of them are there? And why, when you shoot that thing at point blank range with a shotgun, is it not knocking it plumb off those drones?
Why is it not destroying it? You know what I
Exactly.
mean?
Exactly. And also, here's another question I have. Um, Say it is an elaborate hoax. You know, who can afford all that? I mean, who can afford to buy a bunch of drones and send out there to be shot at? I mean, and are they?
Not the Peruvians, man. They're broke over there.
Yeah, and it's like I mean, I know they're mining gold, so that's probably bringing in some money. But a lifelike animated doll would cost a fortune. You know, probably even
Yeah.
down there. I mean, I don't know if it costs as much down there as it would here in the United States, but you know, unless there's a bunch of out of work Disney animatronics guys out there or something, you know, Imagineers or whatever they call them. I mean, I really don't know, but I know this. If I know, there's no way I would be riding around on a drone trying to scare people with these guys armed to the teeth and shooting at everything that makes a move. There's absolutely who on earth would be in their right mind riding one of those things. So it's either a mannequin or some kind of doll or whatever. But I don't know. The whole thing's baffling. I'm afraid to say either way. It's totally baffling.
And like you said, it's hard to go either way on deciding on what we believe it is, because there's no proof of anything. You know, no news outlets have been out there to talk about it. No one's filming like actual real good footage. I mean, it's 2023. I mean, everybody has a smartphone, right? I don't know about the Peruvians, but you send some broadcasters out there. You send some reporters. I mean, U.S. reporters go to the Middle East all the time in dangerous war zones. Why would they feel any different to go to, to try to get some footage, try to figure out what this is? Because that's probably going to be a big catch. That's going to be a big story. You would think that would make some sort of money. They would have some sort of drive to go over there to Peru and try to figure out what's actually going on, because the Peru government's not telling us anything.
It has been on the
Maybe it is
Peruvian
something more
news.
serious than minors. Maybe it is.
It has been on the
But like you
Peruvian
said,
news. It has been on the Peruvian news, but they have the. But as far as I know, as of right now, they have not sent out any reporters. No one wants to go 10 hours away. That's a big, huge question right there. Why does no one want to go on that 10-hour boat ride? You know, to see what this is. You, you being in the military, and you know your job is to guard and protect, or will be. Uh, why why would they bring in the military? Not only their military, but also United States Air Force Special Forces and United States Space Force if there's nothing more than minors? That is the big question right there. What are they telling us and not telling us?
my opinion, why would be because they have some sort of artillery that the Peru government cannot handle themselves. That's telling me that they have some sort of intelligence, some sort of higher ground that their own government can't handle. Let's say this pirate miner, illegal miners in the country who's trying to mine for gold. These miners must have some sort of artillery that the Peru government cannot handle with their numbers and with their arms, and that's why they would call them the U.S. They must have some sort of weaponry that they are scared of. Because they know the land, right? They know the land a lot better than any U.S. soil-born, U.S. Air Force soldier. Um, it would be much harder for us to come in there, survey the land, go through, run our drills, and figure out what's going on than themselves who know the land, who has lived there for their whole life, who's trained in that area. They must have some sort of weaponry that the Peru military is afraid of, and that's my opinion.
It's a very high tech operation for a bunch of miners. Say it is elaborate scam, and say they are just killing people and peeling their faces off and down to the skulls, removing their eyes and their tongue and everything else, all their organs out of their skull and their nose and everything, and just leaving them there with their hair and their ears, basically. I mean, it's pretty elaborate. I mean, it's pretty. It's hard to wrap your mind around. I mean, I know there's some sick individuals out there. Look at what the cartel does and some of these other groups, terrorists and everything else. They cut people's heads off and do some pretty vile things. So I mean, it's not above human nature to do some very vile and graphic things, but still, the whole shooting at them and what kind of body armor is that? I'd like to have some body armor like that. I mean, come on. If you get hit even with body armor at point blank range, now I've never done it. I don't know this personally, but I've watched videos of people and dummies getting hit at point blank range with a shotgun, with bulletproof vest on, armored clothes on, and it knocking them down. So whatever this thing was, after they shot at point blank range with a shotgun, was still able to take off, levitate, and fly up into the trees. That's mind blowing. Absolutely mind blowing.
It makes you think, like, what are these? Who has this kind of technology? First off, because jetpacks, they're real, but they're also not really real at the same time, right? It takes a huge contraption to get a decent sized human being off the ground, and like you said, the 7 foot, these guys are going to be massive guys if they are human. What kind of technology do these people have to where they can lift a 7 foot person off the ground without there being like a ton of water or a lot of flame, just in general, because it would take a lot of air power to lift somebody off the ground that high, definitely over the tree lines. But it's very strange to say that they were just taking bullets from shotguns and stuff like that, because even with armor on, like you said, you're still getting the force of that bullet. It's just not penetrating through the armor. You know what I mean? You're still taking that bullet. It's going to break ribs. It's going to, it's going to cause some actual damage. It could hurt your internal organs by breaking ribs and whatnot. But for them just to lift up in the air and then fly away, and then the whole skinning of the faces. What would be the point of skinning somebody's face unless you're using it as a trophy, right? What are they getting from that? Are they eating it? I mean, that would take some time. I mean, it looked picked to the bone. Did you see the video? It looked picked to the bone. It was very clean.
Cleaned it right down to the skull.
Yeah. Like, what would be the point of that unless you're taking it as trophies?
Did you ever?
Now, if they're skinning people's faces and wearing them as trophies and whatnot, somebody got to do something about that. Not only are they killing people, but they're also, it's a very satanic, in my opinion, it's a very satanic ritual of some sort for them to be skinning people's faces up. It's very horrific. And for the Peruvian government not to come out and give us any explanations, that's crazy. I think they might be trying to hide something.
I just thought of another another possibility. What if it's holograms? Okay, what if there's like really minors grabbing people, like the little girl, and minors like grabbing the 70 individuals and killing them. But what if this that's going on at night is not drones, it's not aliens, it's not you know, people riding around in rocket backpacks, which they could tell if it's a rocket backpack. This the chief said it's their shoes. They're rising up with their shoes, and they look like the Green Goblin from Spider-Man. Um, what if it's holograms? What if it's a hologram? What if that's the reason why the bullets have no
Well, if it was
effect
a
on them?
hologram, the bullets would go through them, right?
Exactly.
I mean, holograms aren't solid. They're hollow. They're just a video projection.
Right.
I understand that it'd be easy to hologram something like that. I mean, it costs a lot of money, that's for sure. But the bullets would just go straight through it, though.
Yeah. And so that's where we have the mixed reports. Some saying the bullets have no effect, which means they could just be going right through them. And another guy, the chief, he was saying bullets just bounce right off. Bullets bounce off like body armor. They just ricochet off. So that's bullets are not going to ricochet off a hologram.
No.
But could it be a mixture? Could it be a mixture? Could it be a very elaborate hoax?
It could be. But they'd have to gain something from it, though, right?
Well, they're getting the gold.
That's the confusing parts.
They're gaining the gold, but how much gold is there?
Well, you got to think about how long it takes to mine gold, though, right?
Well,
And you don't really mine it; you siphon for it. You keep siphoning and siphoning and siphoning and siphoning. I mean, eventually you can mine for it, but if they're actually looking for gold, I mean, that's a long process. How long until they get caught? You know what I mean? Like, how long would it take them to set up something like this to scare away the people? Oh no, it's not scaring them away. They're just getting the military involved now. What would be? There's not enough gold there to make it worth it to lose your life. That's the thing.
well, it wouldn't be to me. It wouldn't be to me. To get out there and get shot by those guys running around in the village. Shooting at them. But also, it wouldn't be worth it to me. Well, none of it would be worth it to me. But who would go so far as to murder 70 people, and peel their faces off just for some gold? That's the.
Not just people too, children as well. I mean, cutting the throat of a 15-year-old girl, that's it takes somebody evil to do something like that.
Yeah, you're right. It also makes you question, if bullets are bouncing right off of them, that AR-15 right next to my bed, but if those dudes show up here, is that AR-15 going to do any good? You know what I mean?
That's confusing, but I don't think any of our weaponry would. I mean, maybe lasers would.
Yeah. What are you going to do? Say, here, Mr. Alien, hold this tannerite right here for me, please. Then back off and shoot him.
Sure.
I mean, that's a confusing thing. I don't know. But it's baffling, and the person will never know unless he goes down there and kind of sees it itself. And that's one of those times I wish I was extremely rich and so good looking, because that would be an adventure. Go down there and investigate this, see what the heck's really going on, and hope it don't wind up without a face.
Yeah.
But
well, you guys think how far are they going to go with this? If the military to, flee, or are they going to try to slowly sneak away from something like this? Or are they trying to, how are they going to escape the little island? Like you said, it's a 10-hour boat ride. Somebody's going to eventually get caught trying to leave the island. If not, that's very surprising. It makes you think maybe the government might be involved. Maybe the government's up there doing something. Maybe the government's trying to hide something, right?
Yeah, excuse me, I'm sorry. Yeah, maybe the government's involved in trying to get them out of there. Maybe that's how they have so much money to do all these elaborate hoaxes. And maybe it really is holograms or something,
I just don't see some group trying to mine for gold being able to afford something, as extravagant as a realistic looking hologram.
When I pull up, everyone keeps alluding to something happening in Colombia or somewhere else down there in South America. So this all happened before. This all happened before 1977, but I can't find anything about it anywhere except for the fact that the movie Close Encounters of the Third Kind come out in 1977. I cannot find anything at all about it. They claim. Did you hear that in any of the videos? They was talking about how this had all happened before in the 70s. This is a repeat of something that happened in the 70s. Do you remember that?
I remember hearing something about that, but I don't think it was from Florida. I think they said something about Brazil, right? And somebody was talking about like how something like this happened in Brazil back in the 60s. And it was another incident like this. I didn't really go into doing research because it's not, it's back in the 60s. You never know it. That's a long time.
I thought it was Colombia, but maybe it was Brazil. That whole area is plumb full of all kinds of UFOs and everything else.
Well, I mean, Brazil would make a lot of sense too, because definitely in the favelas, it's a very small, very poor area. It's a very jungly region. It's also South America as well. I mean, but the whole scenario confuses me, man. Why are they killing people? If they were hunting for gold, you would think that the government would have found them already by now. Because gold mining rigs, they're not going to be hard to find. You have to clear out the area. Definitely in a big jungle area. I mean, if you find, oh man, they've excavated hundreds of trees looking for gold in this area, maybe we should start a family farm and see if they can come back. It's a 10-hour boat ride. They can lock down the ports to see if anybody's trying to leave or if anybody's left.
Apparently,
I'm thinking if it is miners, it would be very easy to find them.
You would think so. And they definitely need to bring them. If they really think it's the miners, why are they not throwing them in jail and saying, hey, this is the guys that's done it, and let those people sleep at night? Okay, I found something. When strange objects appeared over Colares, Brazil in 1977, locals were terrified as light rays from UFOs struck and injured people on the ground, and some even died. Jimmy Adkin and Don Batelli asked what happened, what the investigation said, and what the objects could have been. So apparently something happened in Brazil in 1977 that shot people and killed them. So that's all I can find on it. Fatal UFO encounters in Brazil, 1977.
Yeah, maybe it was 77. I probably remember wrong, but I remember there was something about Brazil anyway. I know that it is a devastating event. So lasers came down from the sky. Is that what you said? Something shot them from the sky.
Yeah, there was a light in the sky and it shot lasers out at people and killed.
So do you think this is what probably could have killed 70 people? I mean, there's no way that they cut all 70 people's, I don't think they just went into their homes and at the middle of the night, right? If 70 people were coming up to them mining after this, you wouldn't think it'd be that many people, you know?
Well, they're not giving no information. They're not even giving no information on how this they're not even giving no information on how this person was even caught. I mean, this little girl was even kidnapped, or how they even got them back, or how they got who they got them back from. See, that's another thing that's puzzling. You know, why wouldn't they tell someone where these, you know, the entire story about this little girl? You know, they say the little girl was kidnapped, her throat was cut when they got her back, but they fought them and got them back. Who did they fight? Did they fight the miners? Did they fight the aliens to get her back? Who had her? What's this little girl saying? There's a lot of questions here. They just don't add up all the way around.
We should just let go. You know, I mean, why would they let go one young girl but kill 70 others, right?
Exactly.
I don't think they would just let her go.
No, they didn't just let her. They rescued her. They got her back from whoever had her, but they're just not really discussing it. They're not going into any detail about it. They leave more questions than they do answers.
I think it's time for some big news organizations to get involved, though, right? It's going to be very hard to understand what's going on from word of mouth. And I don't think I would trust, well, I honestly wouldn't trust even news organizations either, but I wouldn't trust the Peru news organizations. That's just the government involved in a scenario like this.
I'd say no one wants to go down there and get their face cut off.
Yeah, that's true as well.
Sticking their nose where it don't belong.
Well, but I mean, if they send the U.S. Special Forces, though, the Air Force Special Forces, you would think that they would come out with some answers, right? I mean, they're not going to quit until the mission's over.
Right, they won't quit till the mission's over, but they'll be top secret, and no one can know about it, which is, a good thing. They, no one, I'm mixed about that. The public doesn't need to know everything, but at the same time, the public wants to know everything. As the public and as a podcaster, I want to know, but as a United States citizen, I realize that the government, if the military is going to protect the people, there's some things we just don't need to know.
But I think people should know. Definitely if it's extraterrestrials. I mean, it'd be hard to be prepared because we've never left Earth. We might have left Earth's atmosphere, but we've never been to another planet. If a creature can go from planet to planet, we do need to be prepared. We don't have that kind of technology yet. If they do, who knows what those kind of technology that they have, right?
Right.
And
that's the entire purpose of Operation Bluebeam.
I feel like a lot of people would lose their minds and freak out about it. But I would rather the people know than people, for them to keep it a secret and to scare the people even more. Because if nobody knows, we're never going to know when it's safe or not.
Well, once we send the message out, and we did back years ago, if space is real, if it is infinite, and you got to know that it's a mathematical impossibility that we're alone. So once they send that message out and let people know let anything else out there in that universe know that we're here, we're never safe again. And that's just the way it is. We have to, and this is and this is what they say Operation Bluebeam is all about, is uniting the entire world to give up their rights to face an alien threat from outside. And they say it's all bogus, an elaborate hoax to get people to give up their rights. But here's the thing: if they do exist, and it is a real thing, we shouldn't be giving up our rights, but we should all be banding together to come up with technology to protect ourselves, to protect our resources here on Earth, to protect, our humanity, because, if we are the only humans in the universe, we definitely could be an endangered species very quick.
Oh, 100%. And definitely how divided the Earth is. Do you think if there are other extraterrestrials out there, do you think their planet or a planet would be as divided as ours? Our planet is so divided. Even people in their own country, us between the left and the right, even people in your own country hate each other, right?
People in your own towns hate one another.
Like it's very divided. Do you think other culture, like other planets, would have the same vision as we do?
I don't know. I don't know if they'd have the same greed, the same. I just don't know if they would be, have the same envy and jealousy, have the same type of emotions that what we have, or the mindset that we have. It's hard to imagine. You want to think of them all being like Vulcans, logical, smarter, and dedicated to science, or the preservation of life, that sort of thing. But they may not all be like that. They may be, Emperor Palpatines. I mean, who knows? I mean, it's hard to know. It's hard to fathom. It's hard to even wrap your mind around. But
think about it. If they are real, could we make a trade with them? Could we make some sort of deal with them to where they can use some of our resources as long as we can borrow some of their resources? Because you would think if they could travel planet to planet, they could have the cure to cancer. They could have the cure to, anything. They could have, a more sustainable lifestyle. They can have a different kind of fuel source that our planet could run off of, other than using our own natural resources.
That could be very true. They claim, in Florida there was a meeting back, during Eisenhower, that he was brought down there in the 50s and had a meeting with aliens down there in Florida somewhere, and he got secret technology and he gave them the right to abduct United States citizens and cattle and stuff like that and do experiments on them. Whether or not that's true, I do not know. And someone supposedly asked him, why he agreed to such things, and I don't know if that's true. This is true or not. This is all say. Like, well, we couldn't stop them if they wanted to. Oops. Well, I just lost Connor. I want to thank you all for joining us tonight. Please like and share the video. Tell us what you think down in the comments below. This crazy story that's going on here. Who knows? Who knows what this thing is? But let me see if I won't be able to get him back, I'm sure. Let me see. I might be able to get him back. Let me see if I can get him to invite him back. And we'll wrap it up here real quick. Get him back and we'll wrap it up.
Yeah, my bad. Keep going.
Hey, it's not you. We've about run out of time. Our time's almost up. We're just we've gone for 54 minutes, and it just Spotify kicks you out after 54 minutes. But we can add another segment to this if we need to. I just wanted to get back a hold of you before we jumped off here in a few minutes, but I don't even remember what I was talking about. But whatever is going on, those people down there are scared. And that's bad. Um, it's bad. Any final thoughts, Connor?
Any final thoughts? I hope the best for them. I hope the government can figure it out. They can calm the people down. And I'm praying for all the people who've lost their families. I wish the best for Peru. I would like to hear more about this, and if any more information comes out in the next coming weeks, we can definitely come back and talk about it. And I'm definitely going to do more research because this has me very intrigued. I've watched videos and I've watched and I've read stories on it all day long, trying to figure out what's actually going on, and there's no answers. So it's open for interpretation until we actually get an answer.
You're right. It's just Go ahead.
Thank
I'm
you
sorry.
for having me on. It's an honor.
Hey,
And
honor's all mine. Hey, you just started a business up here recently. This show goes to everywhere in the world, even Saudi Arabia. So, won't you plug your business? Tell us a little bit about it.
So our business is a all natural, vegan body butter. It is handcrafted from the highest quality of shea butter and any other ingredients that we put in. We put in a roux. We use a natural oil for the scent, and they're all natural. Like I said before, 4-ounce body butters. It's sort of a thicker lotion, and definitely for the fall coming up and the winter coming around the corner, it is perfect for your skin. And it's called Celestial Smooth. You can follow us on Facebook and on Instagram. It is $8 for 4 ounces. You might get lucky. You might win a giveaway because we're doing a giveaway here soon to try to get the sales going, to try people to use our product, see if they like it or not. And if you don't like the the body butters, it's 100% money back guarantee, and you get to keep the product. If you do not like the lotion, the body butter, it is 100% money back guarantee. This is a homemade business. We are just starting, and we would love your support. And thank you for the plug.
Can you spell that? And it's on Facebook, correct?
It is on Facebook and on Instagram. Celestial Smooth.
Do you know how to spell that? Celestial Smooth. Is it spelled just like it's supposed to? There ain't no changing in the letters or nothing.
No, there's no changing. It's just celestial. Like out of space celestial.
Awesome. All right, well, Connor, thanks for joining me again tonight, and we love you, son, and you have a good week. Okay.
Thank you for having me, and I will. You as well.
All right, folks, that wraps it up for tonight. Thank you for watching. Share us anywhere that you can share us. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook. You can touch base with us on Instagram, Facebook. If you want to join us for a podcast, be a guest, let us know. Holler at us on Facebook. Follow us on Spotify, Google Podcast, anywhere that you listen to podcasts. Like, share. Thank you. Y'all have a wonderful evening. God bless.